Hello, and welcome to another episode of Growing for Wholesale Standards. For today's episode, we're going to pick up exactly where we left off last episode and talk about when you're grading, what would be a USDA graded number 2. I'm going to start off where we started off with the last episode with a grade number 1 and talk about tolerance level. With the grade number 2, you have greater tolerance levels and how much damage can be on a product when you're sending it to your market. Now recently, wholesale markets have been purchasing number 2s. And it's really taken off. A lot of this is based off the ugly fruit campaign you see in Europe, and that trend is picking up across the United States. So this is great because this gives farmers a whole nother market to sell their produce. Because a number 2 is not going to cause any damage to your health if you eat it. A number 2 is perfectly safe to eat. It is grown the exact same way a number 1 product would be grown in the same field with the same soil, has the same inputs applied to it. The difference is either it wasn't matured at the same rate due to irrigation or weather, it was selected by animals or insects and perhaps random chance and was damaged, or maybe it was skipped over when bees were coming by and it wasn't pollinated evenly. So, it was grown in all the same ways, except when you're coming to harvest it just looks different. It'll have a scrape, it'll have a bump. What it won't have is animal bite marks or severe damage or decay. That would not be a number 2. So still be harvested because you want to pull it from your field, but throw that to your compost. I just wouldn't bring that in to eat. And we don't have an episode dedicated to what would be number 2. You'd assume it would be a number 3, but it doesn't have a grade. It doesn't have a graded number because it's not supposed to enter the market at all. It's your compost. You're going to hear a lot of agricultural extension agents, people in the food industry refer to this as your cull, something you'd weed out of your group because it's not supposed to be brought into the market at all. So keep that in mind. And number 2, still perfectly just as safe to eat. We're looking at minor damage. The USDA, as we look at the exact grading specifications, will define it as fairly well matured and only minor damage from some of the things we listed off before, such as insects, mechanical, or any other means necessary to damage a product. We're looking at a very small amount of damage here. Grade number 2s are also, since you're going to your wholesale market, grading for uniformity, just like we're talking about a number 1, applies to a number 2 as well. You'll see, though, when it comes to boxing, here are some of the differences. Number 1, going to your wholesale buyer for top dollar. So we're using a wax box for both, let's say, but a number 1 will have an insert and will be packaged more delicately than a number 2 box. You're going to see some differences there. Other than that, not a whole lot. We're grading for a lot of the same qualities when it comes to a number 1 and a number 2. And know that if it's your first couple years growing, you're going to see a lot of number 2s. You're going to see, upward of 30% of your crop is number 2s. So please, if you're just entering the market, don't be surprised by that number, that potentially 40%. I even had some growers, half of their crop ended up being number 2s. It's very discouraging. I totally understand. So I'm hoping through all these videos, all the conversation around the topics in these videos, brings that number down. So you're not looking at half of your crop being number 2s, but you're getting hopefully 80% of your crop number 1s and only 20% number 2s. And that would be a good year. So keep that in mind when it comes to grading. Still just as safe to eat. Still grading for a lot of the same traits. And we're going to see that in all the grading videos up ahead. So stick with us. Hope to see you guys next time on Growing for Wholesale Standards.